So, I doubt anybody's ever made a video on this. It is dark, yes. And these are all the tools I have to change. I'm missing half of them in a bag of wrenches. This is a 6.9 IDI at 87. I've been having a lot of issues and I'm not sure. I've been diagnosing after diagnosing, air intrusions, this and that. It still runs like boo-boo. My injection pump was off a few teeth because it didn't have any bolts in here. Surprise, surprise. Use Stand-It-On pump off of eBay. It looks pretty clean. It looks a lot better than my factory one. I mean, you will see the difference. This one's crusty. It's probably factory. I got a Stand-It-On injection pump. Hopefully everything checks out on that. I got a Delphi lift pump. Hope everything checks out on that. I have replaced my return lines, injectors, caps, O-rings, fuel system wise. I got a pickup coming in Monday for the tank because it runs rough after it gets below half a tank or so. Hopefully that isn't completely broke off and that's the reason it's running like doo-doo. And I did all this for no reason. But fuel system wise, yeah. Injection pump, injectors, return lines, lift pump. So I'm gonna kind of do my best to show. I don't have anybody helping me, so I may not be able to show everything, but I can show what I can. I doubt anybody even sees this. Nobody owns these trucks anymore. Nobody that cares to work on them, at least. They're all rotting in yards. I did a 3G alternator swap too. If anybody needs help figuring out that configuration, me being slightly mechanically inclined, I'm a little stupid. It wasn't too hard for me. It was definitely a lot of trial and error. I need to clean up my wiring still. Don't look. It was worse than this when I bought it, I promise. It was like this, but worse. I've probably taken out like 14 million wiring harnesses on this thing that were just going to absolutely nothing. But yeah, so my IP was loose. My front cover cam injection pump gear housing was also loose. Everything was loose. My front cover was loose. It's just, yeah. Up. Oh shoot, that's about dang near perfect right there, son. All right, let's get started. If you don't have the step stool, I highly recommend knee pads. Just literally any knee pads. You put your knees right here and you don't feel a thing. Your knees do feel like they're locking up after a while, but it's 40 degrees outside and 10 o'clock at night. And I didn't leave work till 7. I got there at 7 in the morning. So I'm just kind of free balling it because my Oldsmobile's not running the best either. I got to fix the intake on that. It's leaking coolant into the cylinders and heater hoses, heater core's busted. And this is the only thing I got with heat. My wife's car is nice and fancy, of course. You know, you got to keep the wife happy. I get all the beaters, but that's my own fault. I like to buy shitty cars off a marketplace and tell myself it's better than a car payment, but I'm about $4,000 deep in a $3,000 truck. I've done a lot more than just a fuel system on this piece of junk, but I like it, and I don't know why I like it, and I need to sell it, but I won't make near as much as what I got into it, so that's kind of why I'm holding off on selling it. You know, I'm already this deep. Why not keep going? But if this doesn't fix it, I either got a head gasket issue or I'm guessing a cylinder issue. So first things first, to give you all the room, this is already halfway done. I'm going to take the air cleaner off. It's one wing nut. Pretty easy. Take 30 seconds. Scoop my table here closer. I'm also going to be replacing all my factory fuel lines coming from the tank. Those crappy nylon lines. I don't have a replacement for the feed line from the lift pump. I hear those get pinholes and stuff in them quite often, but mine's dry, so I don't think I have to worry about that. It is kind of kinked in a few spots. I wonder if that would mess it up too bad. I'm not too sure. Don't ask me. It's probably not good. That was stuck between my alternator. I'm sure that's great for it. So, wing nut here. Try to do this as fast as possible. I want to be out here for the minimum amount of time that I can be. There's definitely going to be some swear words in this one, so you know, definitely not one of the watch with the kids kind of thing. Oh, fuck. I'd say I'm the closest thing you can get to an American zip ties bias pliers, but I'd say he's more American than most Americans, that Canadian fuck old peg legging. Alright. So you're gonna take right here, It's quite obvious. I'm not going to move my camera a million times unless it's something that you really can't see, and I'll show you. You're going to take the bracket off for your throttle cable, whip it off. I need one of those too. Mine's very, very bad. I'm not sure what size it is. Don't ask me. I think it's a 5/8 or something. Okay, after successfully aggravating my wife, we found it, but while she was looking for it, I loosened my injectors. It's a 5/8 wrench. They're very easy to get to with the cleaner off. You just loosen the lines going to the injectors. There's obviously 8 of them. Do not cross thread those, and do not strong man them. Get them snug and then quarter turn like a drain plug. Hand tight with the wrench and then quarter turn, just whatever feels tight, but don't go crazy, you know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to go get my headlamp. My pocket light just died. I think that one's about dead too. I'm gonna do it just to be sure. I'm not sure if you actually have to, but it's not very trustworthy, but the way you can verify it, I'll show you. So down there, hold on, give me a second. All right, down there on the crank, let's see. Up. You see the crank? You see that right there? With the little circle stuff on it? You're gonna have to clean it off quite good. See if I can get a good zoom on this. There we go. You can barely see it, but there's an O right there. You see it? See it? Right below that bottom left titty, I shall call it. And there's a line. There's gonna be another line on your balancer. And you're gonna line those up. The way I like to do it, you get it close. I'm too lazy and forgot to bring my damn big wrenches home from work, so make sure it's out of gear. And I'm gonna bump it over till the mark lines up. And I'm gonna show you one more thing too, because you can have an exhaust top dead center and a compression top dead center. You want it to be on the compression stroke. All right. So, what size are these? All right. This is a 1/2 inch. I'm only good with football field measurements, you know. But basically everything comes off on this truck with this damn thing right here. That's why I was freaking out. Because the injection pump bolts are 5/8, or what is that? 9/16. Wow, I'm real smart, huh? Been drinking too many Mike's Harders. Yeah. I'm not sure if those are factory nuts. I doubt it. Just make sure you don't over tighten those, because it will eat into the aluminum housing on the IP. But make sure they're tight. I'd put a crush washer behind it, or at least a washer. Unless you have a flanged a flanged nut with a flat bottom that's rounded, not just a normal, 6-point nut on there. I learned that the hard way. I ate and cracked my IP. Literally ate through it. The bolt did, the nut, damn it. You're gonna take this lemon head off right here. That's what I call it. That's what some old guy on the forum called it, so that's what I'm gonna call it. I'm missing a washer on that side. It don't really matter. What you're supposed to do when you take this stuff off is clean it up and put RTV back on it, but I'm not fixing these oil leaks just for it to not run and have to take it off again. I'll do that when I find out if it runs good. It ran good when I bought it. It's got a brand new transmission, a whole new unit with all the paperwork stuff. Still got a warranty on it. And it only got 150,000 miles, and I hope it didn't tear nothing up with the injection pump being loose. I know it can tear the injection pump up like that, but I really hope this fixes it tonight. I really, 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 really do. I'm just going to try to static time it. I don't have a timing light. But you see that dial pin right there? Right now it's at the 7 o'clock position. You want it to be in the 4 o'clock position right there. That's how you know. 11 o'clock is your exhaust, and 4 o'clock right about here is your compression. All right, makes sense. I feel like that's not too hard to follow. Get some with a rubber handle, or you're gonna feel all the voltitudes. I grounded myself to the frame the other day, and it felt nice. My batteries are about dead, so yours is probably gonna bump a lot harder than mine. You're not gonna see what I'm doing too much. I just need a flashlight. So you see that line? Hold on, let me show y'all. I about got damn on it that one time right there. First try would have been lucky. You see that line right there? That's what you want to line up with that line. It's the forums and stuff can scare you. These guys talking about this and that and that and this, and also, no, I do not recommend doing this. I literally don't have anything to turn the crank over by hand. But the guys on the forum like to spout fancy words and stuff. If you have brain cells and know how to turn a wrench, you can be a parts changer, but diagnosing's a different thing. But anybody can be a parts changer, you know? Damn it. Oh shit. Please be. Damn it! Same rule applies for the 7.3 IDIs on these. They're literally the exact same fucking things. It's just bored over 6.9 and they got a better top end on them. The cams are stronger. Alright. Oh, what the frick? Senor? My battery cables are getting warm. I don't want to do this too much longer. I have a ratchet that'll fit on the 4 little bolts that hold the balancer on. Maybe I'll get it close and do that, but I don't want to break those bolts because they're quite small. I think I'm going to call myself lucky and do that real quick. Here, let me show you. I'm pretty sure this fits it too. I'm probably going to end up having to use a 14 and a wrench. But what you want to turn it on is that big, crank bolt right here. But I'm limited to those. But you want to be on that crank bolt right there. I also do not recommend doing this. Hold on, let me get a little sippy sip. That's for Keith Whitley. Where the 14 amp? I'm gonna hurt her on the radio. I'm gonna hurt myself if this piece of shit don't run after this. Yes, that is a threat to myself. Oh man, I'm missing nuts and bolts and nuts and fucking chromosomes and everything here and there. What's the same as a 14? A 5/8 or a 9/16 or some shit like that? I reckon, I think. I only know football fields and Boeing 737 measurements and, 300 NASCAR links. Alright. Y'all are not going to see much of this one. Also, please turn your crank clockwise. Not counterclockwise. Clockwise. Alright? Whoop. Hold on. No in there. Focus, you son bitch. I'm too far. Too bad. I'm going to go back. Please, do as I say, not as I do. Please. Damn it, went too far again. Yeah, fuck knucker. Alright. I feel like a homo wearing knee pads, you know what I mean? But if you stay on there on your knees up here longer than 5 minutes, you a veteran with something and it ain't nothing good. Because this 3-core aluminum radiator right there is tough. And ain't got no rounded edges on that damn thing. And do not put your knees, at least for me personally. As you can tell, I had to put a bunch of push pins in and stuff. I fell right through this motherfucker right there. And I snapped every single. Yeah. Alright. Let's get you back to your home. Alright. We going again. Rolling. Okay, cool. Like I said, open that lemon head up. That dowel is now in the 4 o'clock position. You're good to go. Also, please, do not do what I did. Do not. It may look easier to take all this off with this off, okay? Do not take it off. And if you already did and you're hearing this in the video, it's a pain in the ass. I can explain that later. I'm trying to get this done. I can explain it while I'm doing it, but I sure as hell ain't showing you. But you do not have to pull off the front cover to get it back in timing if you did take that off, because you just put your injection pump gear out of timing, and I'd bet money on it. You're going to get you a borescope and polish up a butter knife and a good flashlight and a paint marker. You're going to take that completely off with the injection pump and all that off that cover, right? You're going to mark the Y on your injection pump gear. The Y should be down here, right? Here's your Y on your injection pump gear, and here's your Y on your cam gear. And those got to intermingle like that, okay? They got to touch. There's plenty of diagrams online. As old as this truck is, you know, if you have all data or anything like that, like I do, you're lucky, and you can look at it on there. You're going to line up the Ys. That's it. You're going to use the butter knife because you cannot fit the borescope in far enough to see the cam gear. So you can take the butter knife, kind of, sort of. Damn, I'm such a liar. My ADHD is ADH fucking. You can take that butter knife, and it's going to take you a while. Don't get frustrated now. It's take a little bit of patience, and that light reflecting off of it right, just right, till you find that Y. When you find that Y, you're going to stay on it and keep looking at it and get somebody to hand you a damn paint marker. And you're going to mark the Y, and you're going to mark the other Y, and you're going to make babies with them. Little cooch right there. And, yeah. How you going to do it? Exactly how you going to do it. And then your injection pump is back in timing. You can pull your front cover off if you want to do 5 hours of labor. That's 5 hours book time, and we all know they'd be bullshitting. So, if you're a dumbass like me doing it in the yard at 10 o'clock at night and have none of your fancy snap-on raper tools, then you're shit out of luck. Alright. I'd be almost done with this, so I won't fucking talk. Injection pump is lined up and in timing. There's no way to put this on wrong because this also has a dowel pin. Alright, you're going to take your bendy wrench, one just like this, even if it's not a 5/8 or 9/16 for your truck, you're going to take a skinny one, a thin one like this. You're going to have to use a normal wrench for this top bolt. For these bottom bolts though, you're going to want this, or you're going to have to make your own wrench. And this happens to work perfectly. You're going to loosen it. After your injector lines are tight, oh, don't forget the throttle cable bracket. I'm pretty sure that's a 1/2 inch. It sure is. Somebody damn Hulk hand that. Wonder who that was. Must have been drunk. Loosen that. Oh, how I would love to have power tools right now. I'd be freezing my ass off if it wasn't for this old Milwaukee hardshell jacket right here. This little heated sumbitch, but I just threw up in my mouth. I was going too fast on my motorcycle, and the battery flew out, and the adapter for said battery. And I've already done that twice, and it's about damn getting warm soon. It ain't freezing no more, but it is cold. It's a little chilly, you know. I think it's like 40 right now. It ain't that damn cold, but once you get moving, it ain't that bad. Alright, bolts are off the throttle cable. If you're like me, don't organize a damn thing and just put bolts where they go till they fit. Take your throttle cable off and break it in the process. You cocksucker. Cool. It's off. You're going to leave your injector lines on. If you're like me and swapping the pump, you're going to have to swap your lines over. I'm going to do them one at a time just to make sure I don't fuck nothing up, because I probably am. And it's going to be interesting putting them back exactly how they were on the pump. They're probably not going to be that way, and I'm going to fight them. And I'm going to get really angry. And I'm going to say some potty words. And I'm going to pray real hard when I go to church on Sunday. And then I'm going to feel bad about myself. Alright. Loosening that bottom one. I can't wait to do all this and it not fix a damn thing. Oh, my phone just died, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, I gave you a good rundown. I'll be back. I'm gonna keep going, but you're gonna take these injection pump bolts off, and there's 3 bolts in the lemon head. They're 12.8 millimeters, whatever that is converted to your shittons. You're gonna take those off, and it's gonna slide out. It's a little finagly, but I will be back. I promise, dears. Sorry if I've disappointed anyone. It's 4 a.m. I'm past the IP. I wish I was still doing the IP, honestly. The lift pump, when you have a handful of tools and about 5 wrenches, it sucks. I just finished washing my hands. They have so much diesel on them. It was gross. I got it in my mouth and stuff, so I went inside and cleaned it up a little bit. I got all over my Milwaukee jacket, but just a little bit of fuel keep me going, you know. It wouldn't be too bad if it went 30 degrees out here. It's fucking freezing. Laying on the ground too. All your body heat is gone. So, no, I would not be making a video on the lift pump. I can explain it. Yeah, if I had my tools at work, I'd probably would have been done an hour ago. Still got 20 feet of fuel line I gotta put on. And, yeah. Just no. Yeah. Hello, fellers and fellettes. My wife can't record a video, so we're now at the beach. Kind of bailed on you guys. If I remember when I get home, probably not. I'll explain a little bit now, but I'll show you guys. Taking the IP off is not hard at all. It's 3 bolts. The one on top, the one on the bottom right, and the one on the bottom left is the hardest to get to. Mine's missing. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't put it back in. I just put the 2 easy ones in. Again, do as I say, not as I do. If you feel comfortable doing that, do whatever you want. But it's running great, and it runs fine. I drove it for like an hour the night I fixed it and let it idle for like an hour. I'll get in that in a minute. And I drove it an hour the other morning before we went to the beach, and it drove fine. It drove great, actually. So I bought a used standard-on pump off eBay for about $250 versus $1,300 new, and it works. But if you buy a used pump, the governor is probably stuck. So don't get scared. You're gonna need some Cosby sauce. But when you start at 1, it's probably gonna run like shit. Because when those pumps sit, they don't like it. I mean, you got old diesel and shit sitting in there, Lord knows how long. So if you can get it to run and idle fine, you're gonna have to more than likely turn your idle up a bit. It's on the idle screw. It's just a flathead. It's quite easy. I can't show you, but you can look it up. There's only one spot with a screw that you can adjust on the IP, really. Maybe like 2, but one of them will change your idle. Figure it out. So when you get going, if your case is my case, when I let off the throttle, it will die. But it idled great. It had a really delayed throttle. Very, like, you press it to the floor and like 4 seconds later it finally does something. When going back to the videos, adding on that, if you can't get it to start because the IP is possibly, your used one, if you got a used one, is possibly stuck with the governor. If you get a used standard-on, you won't have to worry about the plastic rings breaking off inside the pump. Make sure you get the ones after the plastic rings, the updated style. I'm not sure the exact kind. So put ATF in the fill the fuel filter up with ATF and put some in your tank because you're gonna need that eventually. But just put it in your fuel filter and make sure all the air is bled, obviously, and turn it over for about 30 seconds and then let it sit overnight and come back out to it. I use ether if I have to. Sorry, I use ether if I have to, but not a lot. Just a few sprays, just a ch-ch. I don't like to hold it, you know. Old peg legging, his pieces of shits are his pieces of shits, you know, so he doesn't give a damn. But I drive mine to work, so I slightly give a damn. Yeah. Don't also make sure if you're putting ether in your truck that you let the glow plugs, you turn the truck on if your glow plugs work like mine do, and let the wait to start light go off and give it about 10 minutes for them glow plugs to cool down, because you spray ether in there and them glow plugs are hot, it's gonna boom boom. Okay. Think like pinging in a gas motor and what it does to the valves and the pistons, but in your truck. That's what the ether will do if you have your glow plugs hot. And your motor needs to be cool as well, because a hot motor is the same thing as hot glow plugs. If you let go, it'll die. So let it idle for a little bit, rev the piss out of it a few times once it's warmed up. And if you can make it to the local gas station, or if you have any diesel on hand and some Dextron ATF on hand, that would be great. It has to be Dextron or Mercon, something nice with detergents in it. What you're going to do is take your fuel filter off, you're going to fill it up with ATF, and you're going to put about 3 quarts in your tank, and then fill that up with diesel. You're going to do those at the same time in the tank. But the filter, you're going to do that when you get home after filling it up, and you're going to let it idle for a little bit and let it sit overnight, which is the easiest way to do it. Or if you trust your truck enough, or don't give a shit like I did, you can do that and then go beat the piss out of your truck. When I say beat the piss out of it, I mean beat the piss out of it. And then let it idle for about 30-40 minutes if you trust it, or don't give a shit to idle that long. And then I guarantee you $100 when you get back, it will drive fine. You could put diesel clean or something in it, but ATF's a lot cheaper. Diesel clean's meant for it, but ATF does just about the same thing. That's the old school trick on these old mechanical IPs and stuff like that. But I don't recommend doing the lift pump by yourself unless you have a lot of patience and some brain cells, because that really sucked. A word of advice I can give you is when you're putting the new lift pump in, the lever's going to be like this on the new lift pump. The old style levers are straight and bent down. That's okay. Your new Delphi or whatever brand lift pump is going to have a straight arm on it. It's going to be completely straight. All right. So what you're going to do is when you get your old lift pump off, it sucks. It's just 2 bolts. If you can't find out where the bolts are, look at the new one. That should be pretty obvious, and it's 2 lines. Also, replace any rubber lines that you see that look cracked, because they can let air in but not actually leak diesel. If they feel gross, look gross, have oil saturated on them, they need to be replaced. So you're going to take your arm, this is the lever arm on the lift pump, and you're going to tilt it down about 45 degrees and go in and pull up, so it's a swoop. And if it feels really hard and won't go in and it's fighting against you, then the cam's probably in the wrong spot. So turn the motor over a little bit and then do it again. It kind of only goes in one way, but if you fuck it up, you really fuck up, because that lever arm for the diaphragm will break off in your crank, and you can say bye-bye to your crankshaft. But I had probably 5 wrenches and a 50-piece Craftsman set that had about 15 pieces in it. If I can do it, hell, just about anybody can. I mean, I do work on these pieces of shits for a living, but the newer stuff, I'm not familiar with mechanical and old IDIs that much. This is my first go around on them too, but I'm a 6'7" power stroke kind of dude. But if I can figure it out, anybody can. Like I said, you can parts change, YouTube, anything you want, buy a few tools, but when it comes to diagnosing and not trying to throw parts at it, which is what I did, because I just didn't know, and I didn't want to put an IP and lift pump in it. One, because it's expensive and it sucks to do. But if your truck, the issue with my truck is going down the highway, it would stutter at about 55, 60 miles an hour. It would have a stutter to it, or if you let off the gas, it would shake, or it would have that NOS feeling. The NOS feeling is air intrusion, 100%. If you have an older truck and you've never changed the caps, return lines, and O-rings, or the injectors, I recommend that right out the gate, and the pickup inside the tank is guaranteed to be broke off. Clean your tank out when you change the pickup as well. But if you have the know-how or the want to, I really recommend getting a known good used injection pump. Do not buy a $400 new shitty Chinese one, because it will go out in 3 months. Chinese parts on these trucks fucking suck. I went through 2 vacuum pumps, and the lift pump I took off was also new, and the new style lift pump, which shows that it has been replaced multiple times. because these new Chinese parts fucking suck. So put your money where your mouth is and try to keep it on the road for a while. The only good thing about throwing parts at it like I did is knowing that you don't have to replace stuff. But again, if you haven't replaced anything fuel system wise on your IDIs or Power Strokes, the 7.3s, and especially if you have injector issues, it's probably the harness and the valve cover. But back on topic, just overhaul the fuel system. I think in total it probably cost me, the injectors were $900 with the return line kit. It's a Delphi part number. They sell the injectors and the Delphi kit in AutoZone. At least my AutoZone did. I had to order them, but it's 3-year warranty, so if they fuck up, you get new ones for free. But in total, I think it cost me probably $2 grand, $2,500 maybe at most. Maybe not even that. The injection pump was $250. The injectors were about $900 with the return line kit, and the lift pump was, I want to say $60, or maybe it was $100. And I got 20 feet of fuel line to bypass the fuel selector valve, which you need to do unless you actually have dual tanks that work, which they will not eventually. Make sure you have a return line when you bypass the fuel selector valve, or it will run like shit. And you're just going to take 3/8 and 5/16 fuel hose, diesel rated, and run that from the main fuel sending line to the lift pump. And then you're going to take your 5/16 line, it's on the driver's side at the back, and connect that on the return line back to the pickup, or the lift pump. Not the lift pump, the pickup in the tank. So pickup to lift pump, and then return line to pickup. It's I got 20 feet total, so about 10 3/4 of a foot of 3/8 and 5/16. But if I remember when I get to the house, I will kind of show where the bolts are and whatnot. My phone died, and I stayed up till 6 in the morning working on the truck, and I was just really aggravated and didn't feel like walking around with a camera. So yeah, hopefully this finds somebody right, help somebody out, because I know there's not much on the forums to help anybody. And when you do find something that sounds like your issue, and you click on the link that's the mystery solved, it's an old link from 2003 and doesn't work anymore. So I'll holler at you later. I'm trying to drive and I have no idea where the fuck I'm at. I'm on the way home and I'm 4 hours away. Well, not really. I don't know why I bullshit so much. I'm 2 hours away. Alright. So I remembered slightly. When you're putting your lift pump in, it's going to be like this when you pull it out. This is the new style lever. Mine's already, you hear that bubbling? The diaphragm on this one was busted. I probably got fuel in my crankcase. If you have fuel coming out of here like I did, or oil that smells like fuel, vice versa, this is really cold. Then you need to change your oil, which I'm going to do tomorrow at work. I've been driving it this long like that. What worse can happen? Also, don't recommend that. But it's a little weird. You're going to have to go in kind of sideways to get it past everything, and then twist it up in like this. But you're going to go down like that and up. Like I said earlier, a swoop. So this is going to go like that. Makes sense? This is the hole. You're going to go in the hole like this, because your cam's right here, because you want to go under your cam, and then boom. Why did my flash turn off?
Battery too low to use flash. But your video's still going.
Well, you heard that, guys. That's about all I'm going to show, probably. Truck runs great. I need to fix my glow plug wiring. They just broke when I was taking the injection pump out. I ripped some, so my glow plugs are staying on longer than they should. Yeah. Wait. If you come over here. Get the light a little bit. If you can see it all, your IP goes in like so. You're gonna leave your lines on when you're taking it off, but swap them one at a time. I mixed mine up, and it was a very pain in the ass. But you have your 3 bolt holes. You have one here on the IP. This is like it's sitting in the motor. You have one here, and one here. So if it's sitting in the motor, you're looking up it from top. You're gonna see one right here down at the bottom. The radiator hose and valve cover is in the way, so that's why I left it out. Again, don't recommend. And you have one right up top right here. It's easy to get to, and one in the same spot on the right side. This is really fucking cold. But If your IP is like mine, it was making a bunch of noise, clickety clackety. My truck had this power stroke clatter, as one would call it. And there's an O-ring right here too on the IP that you need to replace. Just make sure you don't have any oil leaking through there or past it. And your governor, like I was talking about with the ATF, your governor is in here. You can take this top off, these little screws. They're itty bitty, you'll see them. Probably can't see them now. And your governor's in there. This arm right here that moves with the throttle, that just advances the timing. Oh, we might have some light. Come here. Come here, come here, come here. You see this? This moves with the throttle. That advances your timing. But what actually does the fuel stuff is in top of here. There's where your governor is. That's what gets stuck if you buy a used one. It's up in here. So, you see that? That messes with your timing if I'm right. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that one. But either way, your governor's up here. That determines the flow of fuel. They get stuck, and they have on the earlier models, the Standardine pumps are upgraded from that. They have a plastic O-ring in here that'll go bad, and it'll suck it through the fuel system and get stuck in the return lines, so it'll run like butt too. So make sure all your lines are clear, or just replace them. Toodles. I didn't know my pickup came in. I was at the beach, having fun with the wife. So I wasn't checking my eBay. This is my new pickup. I highly recommend replacing these because they will break off in your tank like mine is, and it won't run past half the tank. Mine just keeps getting worse and worse. Damn it! Whatever. I hope this is the right one. When it comes to Chinesium, this is literally metal tubes. You can't fuck that up. The little sweatshop kids in China. But here you go. I highly recommend changing this because they will break off. Hold on. I feel like there's supposed to be a filter sock on this. But they'll... Huh. Interesting. I don't think this is the right one. The pins match. If the hoses work, the hoses work. Whatever. But yeah. Here's your float. Cool stuff. Cool beans. I feel like this is supposed to have a filter sock on it. I'm not sure. I'll find out at work and I'll take a video if it's the wrong one. If I find a sock sitting in the bottom of the tank. So, yeah, I mean, this is simple. You slide the old one out, you slide this one in, and you got the, oh, it came with a new one, surprising. You get a new O-ring and the hold down. If you're going to use a hammer and a flathead, be careful not to pop a hole in your tank. I got tools for it at work to take these off. Of course I do. But, yeah. That's honestly all it is. I really feel like this isn't right. I feel like that just looks odd. If it's not the right one, like any man does, I will take the L and not return it and just let it sit somewhere that's not needed. I've probably lost like $500-$600 doing that. If you know, you know. That's about it though. I'm gonna go to bed.